All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for viewing. And this is Blown Speakers, episode 6. Presenters, as always, Dave and myself, Greg. This week's LP, Psychedelicate, modern day classic by the band Slumber Party, hailing from Detroit, with the 4 members on the cover here. I love the name Psychedelicate. And I think it really kind of captures the sound of the album.
Yeah, totally.
The band. So I believe the 4 members that are featured on the album cover and that played on this record are Alicia Berg Bollig, Gretchen Gonzalez, Marcia Bolin, and Julie Benjamin. The album was released August 31st, 2001. August 31st, as you may remember, Dave, is my birthday.
Of course.
I didn't find that out until this evening, doing research preparation for the show. Yeah, and I didn't, that's only, 12 days before September 11th.
Yeah, I mean, that might have something to do with why this was kind of overlooked. You know?
Perhaps, yeah. So we couldn't find out too much about the album, the members. So I think it has been overlooked. I think, vastly underrated. I think this is a criminally overlooked record. It's really good, holds up. And yeah, I didn't hear it. I was in Japan. I think I read about the band in Mojo. I think it was about 2003, I think it was 2003. And then either at one of the big record stores, either Tower Records or was it HMV in Japan? I might have got it here in Buffalo though when I was home, but loved it, and it's held up through the years. And I
Greg,
think, yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Didn't Yola Tango invite them to open for them or something? It's like I was wondering.
I think they did tour together.
Okay.
And I think that was another reason I was interested in the band. And they just, their influences that you can hear on their record are, some of my all-time favorites. So why don't we take a look at them? So starting from the root of the tree. Remember those posters, the family tree of rock?
Yeah.
We've talked about them. So yeah, for the modern rock world, alternative rock world, indie rock world, post-punk world, punk world, they're right here. The stump right there at the root, right? The Velvet Underground. Here.
I really consider the Velvets my all-time favorite band. Even though it was before I was born. But yeah, I mean,
they're taking the #1 spot.
Yeah. I mean, I had that box set, and I could not stop listening to it. Yeah. And I love Lou Reed. I love John Cale's solo stuff. I mean,
yeah,
wonderful.
There's a lot to get into there, Dave. I think.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just beautiful pop songs. Insightful, provocative lyrics. Obviously experimental side with the music, but still rooted in pop rock and roll, some doo-wop, yeah, and just put at the same time, yeah, on the cutting edge of rock and roll at the time and years to come. So yeah, the Velvet Underground, and you definitely hear it in the guitar playing, especially I think the softer side of the Velvet Underground in this album by Slumber Party. I mean, it's as I mentioned to you before, it's a very easy listen, I think. Not that it doesn't have some edge and it doesn't kind of have its driving moments, but it's just, I think, very accessible. Okay, next up, Luna. And they're a band that owes a lot to Velvet Underground. This album featured here in the picture, Bewitched, Sterling Morrison plays on. And yeah, the sound, there's one song, I think the second song on this record, Psychedelicate, reminds me a lot of Luna. And I think that's a good thing.
What year was Luna's heyday? Like when was this album?
I think Bewitched, I think this is 96, 97. So they were, and this band, this version of the band, I think like 90, I'd say 93 to 97, 98. When I saw, so there's Dean Wareham, guitarist. I know his first name's Sean.
Oh, I have a Dean and Britta album.
Yeah, yeah. That's now his wife. Yeah, that's nice.
Okay. These guys are from New York City, right? Is it?
Dean, originally from New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
Now, which guy was it? I think the drummer was this guy, was in a really cool New Zealand band called the Chills.
Oh, so they're all from New Zealand?
No, they did. Whoop! Wait a second, it's not time for them yet, or them. He's Canadian, the guitarist, and I think the other guy, this guy, the bass player, maybe from Boston. He went to school in Boston. You know what? He was roommates. Wait. Am I?
Oh.
I think it was.
Oh, we have a visitor.
Yep. My son Nolan. Dean Wareham was, one of the more well-schooled indie rock guys. He went to Harvard, and I believe his roommate was Conan O'Brien, or
really? Wow.
No, his band before Luna was Galaxy 500. Maybe the drummer Damon, and then Damon and Naomi. When Luna or Galaxy 500 split, Dean Wareham started Luna, and Damon and Naomi started Damon and Naomi. Maybe the drummer Damon was roommates with Conan O'Brien.
So, some reason I have this association, Dean and Britta, with New York City. Does that make sense?
I think he then moved to New York City.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and that first record, Penthouse, there's a song on there called Chinatown, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, being a young man in New York City, I think factors heavily into the record. So yeah, so Luna. So another reason I think I like this record and was drawn to it. Yo La Tango. Now you mentioned, Dave, you think Velvet Underground's probably your all-time favorite. And it's hard to say, things change, what you want to listen to change, but maybe for all time, for, law of averages, I would go with, for me, in my personal listening, Yo La Tango, my personal favorites. And yeah, I think Slumber Party did open up for them. Definitely similar music style. So was
you have
another.
all the Yo La Tango albums, Greg? Aren't there like close to 20 or?
I don't know if I have them all. I have
But
most of them. Yeah, in some form or another. Yeah.
hmm.
Um,
But I mean, just they've how many albums do they have? Like 20? More than 20? Like they have a lot, right?
whole bunch, whole
Hmm.
bunch.
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot. Um, so yeah,
Hmm.
but they're. I don't know. I like just, and there with Yo La Tango, I see them. More of an ambitious band. I think that obviously in a longer running band than Slumber Party, but a lot of things I like about Yo La Tango with the melodies, the vocals, and I think we talk about Henry Rollins a few weeks ago, or our first episode we talked about Henry Rollins.
A little bit. He's come up. Yeah.
But there was Pitchfork has that feature like 5, 10, 15, 20, an artist, a musician talks about an album that was important to them every 5 years of their life. And
Uh-huh.
Henry Rollins' first one, I think it was when he was 5, or maybe when it was 10, was the Beatles. And I was really surprised. And he said, I just love the sound of their voices and the fact that they weren't yelling at me. And I was really surprised, coming from Henry Rollins, whose vocal style when he was fronting Black Flag was pretty aggressive and sometimes yelling. So, but as a kid, he needed something to comfort him, and that's I think something I find in the music of Yo La Tango, those
Mhm.
vocals. And with this album from Slumber Party, and their vocals, I think, a fair bit,
Oh,
or
Greg,
remind me
before
of.
could I say something about? Well, I mean, I want to
Well, now that I know I've mastered the controls, Dave, we can go back.
Yola Tango. Well, I mean, of course, we're going to do an episode on Yola Tango, if not multiple
Multiple.
episodes in the future. Yeah, but I wanted to say I would also I really love that James McNew album you turned me on to. The
Oh, Dump.
Prince. It's a bunch
Oh,
of Prince covers. Yeah,
yeah,
Dump. What's it
yeah. The
called? Like
skinny, all Prince covers,
Skinny
skinny,
motherfucker with the
high pitched voice.
yeah. Like those
Oh,
are
yeah.
great. I would love to talk about that album someday too. Mm.
And he's got a couple of other albums with Dump too. And okay, we're not. Yo La Tango is not the featured artist, the featured album, but
Okay.
I gotta say at this point, Ira Kaplan, the singer and one of the singers and the guitarist of Yo La Tango, right here. Oh, should I get my laser pointer? Let's see.
Go for
Laser pointer, the color
it.
right there. He does a show on WFMU, which airs. It's live Tuesday nights, 9 to 12 Eastern Standard Time, U.S. time. But it's it's archived at WFMU.com, and so I tend to listen now weekly. And just this past Tuesday, he featured a Dump song. I didn't actually hear the song, but I heard him talking about it. But it was a Dump record with Barbara Manning, who was in the San Francisco Seals. And she's got a great song on the 6th album, Wasp's Nest. But it made me realize, oh, there was a Dump album I hadn't heard. So it's one I want to listen to. So yeah, Dump, definitely.
Yeah.
Also
That's the album I
criminally
recommend to people.
overlooked.
The Prince covers. It's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And his original, I think, yeah, I listened to. I can't think the name of the record, but I'll check it out. When there's a lull, I'll check it out. Oh, wait, no. Okay, we're here now. I've got it. I'm gonna. Dun, 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 dun. After Duke Ellington, here comes Dump. A Grown Ass Man is a great album. It's mostly original. Oh, he does a Thin Lizzy cover,
Huh.
the Cowboy song, which is sensational.
Hmm.
So yeah, thank you, James McNew, for teaching me more about Prince and Thin Lizzy. All right, and then Mazzy Star, who you know, the songs I like Mazzy Star quite a bit, and the songs I like the songs I like a lot. I really like you know, the one song "Fade Into You."
Hmm.
You know, I could
Yeah.
I could listen to that song
Now, Greg,
any day of the week.
am I wrong, Greg? Did she pass away recently?
No, Hope Sandoval. No, the guitarist and founder of the
Oh.
band. I think this gentleman in the background, Dave Rebenbach. He passed away,
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think last year. Yeah,
Okay. Uh-huh.
that was sad news. So, yeah, but that said, these influences noted, I think Slumber Party certainly holds up on their own. It's still a distinctive record, great songs. What do they say here? Strayed from overt rock formulas in favor of minimalist atmospherics with a phased guitar sensibility. Achingly haunted and beautifully ornamented songcraft. Yeah. Thank you, All Music Guide.
Yeah, the drums are certainly very minimal on this album.
Mhm.
Some of the, like, you know.
As core contributors to the new musical renaissance of Detroit, I like that, conveys stunningly slow femme doom rock with a late night vibe.
Wow. Doom rock. I wouldn't have thought that, but
yeah, it's
sure. I can go with that. Yeah.
yeah. The lyrics don't seem overtly doomy or gloomy or, you know, melancholic, but there's definitely yeah, haunting. There's definitely some melancholy there and some what's the word I'm looking for? It's a somber tone, but you know,
Well, the first,
hypnotic. Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Dave?
oh, just that first song, "The Bag of Spiders."
Yeah,
I mean,
let's.
it's yeah. Go ahead.
I'm going to now. Let's see if I can do. Okay, and so let's hear a little of that. This kind of made me think of, like, I don't know, like Sid Barrett or something, and like, or there's that book Dashley. Let's listen.
There's a bag of spiders behind my ears. One falls out for every year when it's closing time. When the numbers align, they drink my tears, and everything's fine. When I stand in the rain on the corner on the border, there's springtime flowers and eggshell colors. There's no time to wait. It's quick when I sink with these noodles in my head. I'd rather be dead. I'm the kind, never mind, the hardest start. Oh, divine, if I had Noah's Ark. But this is my ship, and what a trip when the country I run. It's
Yeah, it's a lot of space, some really pretty guitar, kind of juxtaposed by those kind of spooky lyrics. Or there's a bag of spiders behind my ear. One
Yeah.
falls out for every year.
Yeah. And then they drink her tears at one point.
Yeah.
It was, well, I was
It's
trying
kind of. Oh, go ahead.
well, the beginning of it, like, it's just so cute, but it sounds so creepy and scary.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was trying to put my finger on it, but it was this book I came across by Angus Oblong.
Angus.
You ever heard of that guy? But it looks like a kid's book, but when you start reading it, it's really creepy and disturbing and just over the top. I think I came across that book is like just a school I used to substitute teach at, through our friend Anthony sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And I think the book was in the teacher's room because they didn't want to leave it out in the library because it was, it was too scary. It was, well, it was creepy. And, but it was
a picture book?
Yeah. But the very first story, because the beginning of this song reminded me of something, and it took me a while to figure, okay, that's what it was. It was this book. It has that similar vibe. And the very first story in that book involves a slumber party.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So there was this, there's like this group of girls called the Debbies or something, and they're like these blonde, beautiful girls. And then there's this one outsider girl who wants to be part of them, but then she invites them all over her house for a slumber party, and then she kills them all. Like that's the story. Like that's what this book is like. And so when I first listened to that song, I in my mind I thought the whole song was like super creepy. But actually no, when you go, it's really just the first verse, it's creepy. And then the rest of the lyrics are, kind of normal, become normal. It's funny. More you listen to that song, the more you listen to it, the less creepy it becomes, which I thought it would be. I was expecting the opposite result when I went into the lyrics. But Here, I just thought of what it reminds me of. I just thought of the name. So it's interesting that it both conjures up literary references for us. All right, now we're in the Zoom. I'm going to share my screen again. Here we go. Have you heard of this one, Dave? The Gashly Grum Tinnies? Or is it the Gashly Grum Tinies by Edward? Now were you telling me about this recently, Greg? I feel so.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I think when I worked at a Camelot Records, they made a record store, and one of the women I worked with, I think, ordered this book, and it came to the store. And she told me, Tim Burton was a big fan. And it's an alphabet book, but
you were telling me about this because we were talking about,
for example, here's A is for Amy, who fell down the stairs.
Okay.
So each letter represents the first name of a child who meets a ghastly end. H is for Hector, done in by a thought. So yeah, this song has a childlike sensibility, like with her vocals, the kind of simple music, the simple tune or melody, but then with the bag of spiders, this, creepy and a menacing lyric and element, brought to mind Gashly Grum Tinies, I think. And in your case, was Angus Oblong?
Yeah, I could show you, but now that you mention, I think I was It was definitely pushing me in that direction, thinking of something for children that was kind of I think in the case of Oblong, it's not really for children, but it at least looks like it is. this was the cover, right? Creepy Susie and 13 Other Tragic Tales, right?
Okay.
And this is the girl. I think her name is Helga, right? And so the first story is the Debbies, right? So Helga wants to be part of the Debbies, right? She has them over for a slumber party, and so it talks about how they torment her. Okay, this is just I don't think it shows us the whole story.
Oh, okay.
There, the Debbies are tormenting Helga, right? But eventually Helga has them over for a slumber party and kills them all.
Kind of like then that brings to mind like Heathers movie with Winona Ryder and the guy, or Carrie.
Carrie, sure.
But yeah, so there's kind of a menacing. There's an element of danger, I guess, or menace lurking, but
it disappears, Greg. That's the interesting thing. Like if you listen to the song again, it's really contained in the very beginning of the song.
Yeah.
And it kind of flows to something else.
Yeah, and overall, it's a pretty uplifting listen as far as I feel. Okay, so why don't we listen? Yeah, I want to play another song.
Go for it.
Let's go here. Let's go screen share. I think this is my favorite song on the record. You've Gone Too Far.
Okay. Yeah.
Wish you had a second chance
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, just some, I don't know. It's just, it sounds great. And at the end there, they're harmonies and they're singing kind of in a round with,
Yeah.
um,
I don't know what you're saying. It sounds like praying. That
yeah.
that strikes me as almost a Yola Tango line, kind of.
Oh, and I love that initial chorus. You've gone too far. You wish you had a second chance to take it back, but it's too late. Told him things about yourself.
Greg, what I I don't know why I have to inject debauchery into this, but to me, I think I feel the character in the song had, drank too much, right? Had a crazy night.
Well,
right?
they do mention a glass of gin in the air got thin.
That's right. Okay. All right. So then I'm not injecting it. Good.
Yeah.
I to me, it just seems like she drank too much and she, just got kind of sloppy and was just telling this guy all this stuff about herself and blah, blah. And then the next morning is like, oh my God, why did I tell that guy about, my, most embarrassing experience in 8th grade or, whatever she told the guy, just be, I mean, everybody gets like that sometimes where you just,
sure. She does mention gin. I guess I was, I was just thinking about starting a relationship. If you could just be serious for a moment, but the early part of a relationship where she confides in someone, and reveals something about herself, her personality, her past, and then obviously, regrets that shortly thereafter. And I definitely see it within the context of a relationship, someone you're somewhat attracted to, or, someone starting a relationship, a romantic, intimate relationship. But that really resonates with me. You've gone too far and you wish you had a second chance to take back something you've said. I mean, that's such a universal feeling for anyone. And, I think of job interviews or situations at work where you say something you regret and, have caused you grief later on. And, but it's just a beautiful song. And, I guess it's a ballad. I mean, the whole album is kind of like a ballad. They're almost like lullabies, but the song picks up, and with those vocals, those harmonies, and the tempo picks up, even though it's, like a song of regret, like, that was a bad experience. The singer, the narrator is obviously not devastated, is not defeated by that experience, So it's an uplifting song. What was the song, or what was the line about praying?
Oh, I don't know what you're saying. It sounds like praying, something like that.
Yeah. And then there's something else.
Wait. So what you're saying sounds like praying to me. I know what you're saying. Sounds like praying, something like that. I wish we could find a lyrics. Yeah, that's the thing, Greg. We should mention there's not a lot of information about them or this album on the internet, really.
Well, that's where we got to turn to our viewers now.
Yeah.
We haven't asked a lot of you. It's episode 6, so yes, those who have information on the lyric sheets for Slumber Party Psychedelicate, please contact us.
I started writing down.
Wait, so it didn't come. It didn't come up and did you Google lyrics Slumber Party?
Oh yeah, I was looking for it. I wanted to talk. Well, like I just said about bag of spiders. So I wanted, and I even started writing down the lyrics. Like okay, but it's hard to do. It's more time consuming than you think to write down lyrics.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing, Greg, when you mentioned they were on the Kill Rock Stars record label, I always that's based in Olympia, Washington, right? and I know they're, you know, heavily associated with the Riot Girl movement, right? Kill rock stars. Is that right, Greg? Like,
yeah, we'll go. Well, I mean,
Bik-
but yeah,
Bikini-
initially, I mean, well, Elliott Smith, but yeah, I think of Flag. Well, yeah, here at Bratmobile,
Yeah.
Heavens to Betsy. Where's
Yeah. So I
Big
guess,
Joni? I've heard about this band.
so I guess,
Um,
Greg, I was thinking,
Bikini Kill's the big.
yeah, of course, yeah,
Raincoats.
yeah, yeah.
Where's Bikini Kill?
Well, Greg, if you click all artists, you get the whole list. Yeah. So that's why I was kind of Billy Childish.
Yeah, I didn't know
That's
that. But
why I was expecting
Kathleen
a
Hanna.
Slumber Party to have a bit of an agenda or you know, like I thought it'd be kind of political, but it's completely not, right? It's
No.
from what I can see. Yeah, like what we're just talking about, like the song we just listened to, right? Like just the regret from saying something in a relationship. It's you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't need it to be political, but I guess I'm just kind of surprised that it's totally not.
Yeah. Yeah, Bikini Kill, certainly different sound, and yeah, and more political, outspoken. A big fan of Bikini Kill as well, but yeah, different sound, different message.
You were planning to see them this year, weren't you, Greg? Bikini Kill?
In your hometown of Cleveland. We were supposed to see them in May, and then it was postponed maybe initially to June. And then the day after Thanksgiving, which is come and gone, I got to find out what's going on with that. Because, yeah, I think at, what is it, the Beachland?
Beachland Ballroom, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I saw Yola Tango. You were supposed to join me for Yola Tango. You were snowed in.
Yeah, snowed in.
Yeah. Greg, there's another Slumber Party song I'd like.
All right, we've got them.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's track 4, perhaps. Everyone else I know.
I'm going to start it up here. Nice organ there. This is a little more like
is losing their self-control. Everyone says straight to their lips, they can't read minds. Why can't you read minds? It's a crying shame, no one to blame. The hell-bent full of intent. What's that prove that I won't protest? I won't respect you any less. I'll propose and we find a place. Let it down, take it off. Without losing what
Yeah, that's a wonderful song. And that's, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, just like I mentioned, I was listening to this when I was shopping the other day, just for notebooks and stuff. And yeah, it just hit me. It just hit me like in a good way. So I was walking through the store.
Yeah.
There's a line in there I really like when she says, has it ever occurred to you it doesn't have to be perfect the first time, right? So I imagine like this kind of young couple, you know, and they haven't really advanced the relationship to a certain point yet, and the guy's all uptight, right? Because I feel it's you know, like all this thing about gender roles, you know, the guys feel like he has to be an action hero or whatever,
Right.
a rock star or something. And it's just so great, just her just saying, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect the first time.
Right.
Like this very I don't know, it just made me feel kind of warmth
Yeah. Yeah.
towards her.
Yeah.
Letting the guy off the hook, you know, like, come on,
Yeah.
just, you know, you don't have to beat yourself up about this, you know, like things are going well. Let's,
Yeah.
you know what I'm trying to say?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and the sound of the song with that organ, and then that chorus was, "I propose that we find a place."
Oh,
And that's a
too.
very inviting line, even
Yeah,
without
yeah,
the context you talked about.
yeah. Like let's sneak off together and do what we have to do, and you know,
Yeah.
don't be nervous about it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
This is a, you know,
Yeah.
doesn't have to be perfect. This is a long-term thing. We're going to have a great future together. I don't know. I don't know if all that is supposed to be there, but yeah, it makes me feel very happy.
Yeah, it's very yeah, and I don't know how much I listened to I don't know if I analyzed the lyrics as much as you did, and it's certainly that interpretation you're taking makes sense, and but I've always focused on that line, "I propose that we find a place," and just kind of like maybe just without the context of a relationship, just, you know, friends finding a place, or just inviting you in, you know, like as you listen to this music, you're finding a place of refuge. This is a song, you know, we talked a little bit about, there was a Pitchfork review of this record, and in the record they compared Slumber Party to Stereolab, and you know, I thought about it as I was making the PowerPoint with the influences. I was like, yeah, Stereo, and they're another one of my all-time favorites. But then I thought, I don't know if I really hear it that much. But in this song, I hear with their vocals and that organ, synthesizer, I definitely hear more of a Stereo Lab influence, or at least it brings Stereo Lab to mind.
How about the Shags? I haven't listened to the Shags in years, but do you ever listen to them?
Yeah, but the philosophy of the word. Yeah, and we've talked. Yeah, maybe that's one. I think maybe I found in Japan and rented, and I wonder if I have this as an iPod I got 10 years ago, over 10 years ago.
Greg, I don't remember us talking about the Shags. Or what do you?
I mean, I think in Japan we talked about them because Georgia Hubley from, who you said, maybe you brought them. No, they were in Mojo. Oh, they're not. I thought I might have had them.
I had the Shag CD. I bought it in Chicago.
That's where.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I had it in Japan though, Greg. But I'm sure we at least talked about it because I was kind of interested.
They were featured in one of those Mojo like cult artists.
Yeah. What do you mean you've never heard of? Was it that section?
Or no, just the one with all the.
Well, but you know, I didn't realize. I just looked up the Shags earlier today. I thought they were maybe mid 70s or something, but it's like 69. The Shags album. But it's almost like
right.
the slumber parties are kind of like a a much more musically proficient Shags.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but they were. I mean, they were like sisters, and I think they were quite young and young when they
Yeah.
wrote those songs. So much
Yeah.
more childlike. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. But I feel
yeah.
like people who were Shags fans, like it did put something in motion that would perhaps lead to this kind of music. Do you think? Or
Um, maybe
well, you
I'd have to listen to the Shags more.
you said so. What did Georgia from Yola Tango?
I
What did
think
she
I
say about?
remember I read something where they were maybe the Shags would played one of those all tomorrow's
Oh,
parties,
okay.
and that or there was and that she was really excited to go see them. Like she was in at the event and was like was very excited. Went up, made sure to be close to the stage. That's what
Hmm.
I recall from the article I read.
I think I would feel the same in that situation.
But I with
And
the
of course
Shags
Frank
though,
Zappa says they're they're better than the Beatles.
but that's him wanting, I think, to be
Yeah.
provocative. Um,
Sure.
and that's great. You should. I mean, you should. I mean, and that's I think good because I mean, as great as the Beatles are, it's like no band should get that big.
Hmm. Hmm.
For anyone's benefit. I mean, I think I'm obviously glad they were successful. They became famous, so I could hear them. But I think that's where that's coming from.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
funny statement, Greg. No band should get that big.
you know,
Uh, um,
yeah. Well, but think
okay.
about it though. But think about it. Now we're getting off track from somewhere. But I mean, John Lennon was assassinated by a
Oh, yeah.
so-called fan, and
Yeah.
George Harrison was attacked by a guy who was schizophrenic and felt he was inside his head.
Wow.
Um,
I didn't know that.
yeah, and just I mean, I think they certainly enjoyed their success, but
Um,
that amount of fame is like and obviously those for the attacks on John Lennon and George Harrison, yeah,
no,
real
but I guess
negatives
can
there.
you imagine the tree we're talking about? If it goes from the Shags through Raincoats to Slumber Party, do you think that would be
I don't
like?
know. I think the Shags, and I'd have to listen to that more, but it was hard for me to listen to it and like repeated listens
Mhm.
because there just wasn't enough. Not that I'm, I don't know, like all the music I listen to, people have to be virtuosos or technically perfect, but there's just wasn't. It was difficult to listen through with you know, I don't know. It wasn't
Sure.
that
No, Greg.
accessible.
I'm
But
not. I'm not.
so I mean, we
I think
talked.
that's very fair to say, Greg. the
Um,
Shags are not not an easy listen, and I probably didn't
I
even
would,
listen to it that much, even though I was interested in it. But
yeah,
I feel like it did put something in motion for people who heard it, though.
yeah, maybe. But I mean, I would think more the bands that influenced the Shags
The
probably
Carpenters.
put things in motion, or I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's. I don't know how many of the members of the Slumber Party heard the Shags, and I mean, are you saying because they were younger, or they were all female?
I guess so. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you mentioned the Raincoats.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, with the Velvet Underground, you have uh, Nico singing. I think you hear that influence here. Mo Tucker on the drums.
Yeah, but
Um,
I thought when they mention them, I think in Pitchfork when he relates them to the Velvet Underground, yeah, he mentions Nico on vocals. But I think the couple of songs that Mo Tucker sings, to me, feel more in line with Slumber Party than Nico. Like
yeah,
After
maybe.
Hours.
I mean, I hear them both, but certainly um, I hear her influence. And, you know, when I was choosing the picture for the PowerPoint, there was a cool picture of the Velvet Underground on stage with Nico. And it's a color picture, which you don't see as many of the Velvet Underground, you know, at that time, and doing those factory parties. But you couldn't, Mo Tucker was obscured, so I didn't want to use that picture. So,
Mm.
and I think that, yeah, that backs that in the feeling was supporting what you're saying there. I don't know if it's Mo Tucker more than Nico, but yeah, I think that vocal style comes through here.
Mm.
Yeah, well, who knows if we ever get to communicate, correspond, meet members of the Slumber Party, we could ask them about the Shags.
Mm.
What's the philosophy of the word?
Philosophy of the world.
Philosophy of the world.
Yeah, it's the one song is used, I think, pretty well in the movie Ken Park. I want to say it's Ken Park. It's the guy. So we talked about the kids movie before, right? Harmony Korine wrote it, I think, but Larry, what's his name?
Oh, Larry Clark.
Larry Clark directed it. But then he has a movie called Ken Park. You know that movie? Yeah, and at the very end of that movie, they play "Who Are Parents" by the Shags, and it works. And like it's great to hear it just out of the blue in the movie. Oh yes, it sounds really cool. It's it's crazy music. I mean, really.
Yeah. I'll have to revisit the Shags. Yeah.
That was the same time I was listening to the Fugs, Greg. So I was like on this real kind of lo-fi experimental kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should wrap up here. It's about 10 o'clock Buffalo time. Yeah, I would just highly recommend our viewers, anybody listening, go listen to the Slumber Party. I would even advocate for a purchase. It's a great, it holds up. I mean, you know, and I don't want to badmouth the Shags or, you know, diss them. But that album for me, it's just, I can't see how many times I'm going to go back to it and listen to it. And like, as I said, this album, that one song, but the whole
that's
album,
why I was saying, like, they're very musically proficient Shags. You know,
yeah.
But you don't need to think about them.
This album is just, you could listen to any day of the week. I think any season, you know, and you don't want to overplay anything, but this is an album I can go back to again and again. And yeah, a very pleasurable listening experience, but not just ear candy, you know. There's some nice, subtle variations, and and there's some depth in the lyrics, and yeah, things are really well orchestrated. Yeah, it's just a very nice listening experience.
And you kind of just discover more things about it. The more you listen to it, you catch things.
Yeah.
You know? Now, you would definitely say, Greg, this is, if someone wants to get into the Slumber Party, you think they should start with this album?
Yeah, I would say so. The only other one I have, well, okay, let's go. So here's Bikini Kill, but let's get back to. Oh, they're not featured.
Oh, Greg, you got to go to that. Yeah, all artists. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, Kill Rock Stars. These earlier ones, their eponymous debut. I should probably check that out. I haven't heard that. Mail order freak single. Club. I haven't heard. It's out of print. Ooh. The only other one I have is Slumber Party 3, which is a little more, they go a bit more in electronic direction and kind of the more up-tempo dance style, a little more of a party record. It's good. This last one, Music, and with the Music with a K, I think more of a kind of craft work influence. I just heard a couple things, but
that must
that's
be
one I
interesting,
should.
though.
Yeah.
For them to embrace the craft work.
But for me, I would start with Psychedelicate. I mean, I like this album so much that
Oh yeah, I mean that's where you started me, and I'm happy. So yeah. I can vouch. I could vouch for your recommendation.
And yeah, that's it. And well, that's it. All right, I got nothing more to say, Dave.
All right, no, that is. Shall we close the book on episode 6?
Let's do it.